Breakfast today with the help of a friend of mine. He is the co-host of the studio tour, but you know him best as the host of The Tonight Show, and that's my jam. He's the man, the myth, the legend, the one and only Jimmy Fallon.
Oh, hey there. You made it. Welcome to the Universal Studio Tour. I'm Jimmy Fallon. I'll be making sure that you get through this experience in one piece. You've got the very best guy.
Tiffany.
And the greatest driver.
Glenn.
They're the best. I love them. Even though...
Definitely Glenn.
Owes me $5. I know you guys are excited to get on the tour, but first, a few safety rules.
Okay, let's get these safety rules out of the way first, shall we? First things first, if you're experiencing a medical emergency, if you drop something of value off the side of the tram, or maybe at some point your car experiences audio or visual issues, don't worry. What you're going to do is reach up and grab down on the red cord that runs directly above you in the center of the tram ceiling. I will then come back there to assist you as soon as it's safe to do so. Exactly. Otherwise, throughout the entire tour, please remain seated. Keep in mind that there's absolutely no smoking. Oh, no, not good. No. No, there's no smoking allowed on the tour today, guys, not even vaping. So keep in mind that you'll be experiencing loud noises, sudden tram movements, strobe lights, fog effects, and lots of water effects. So of course, keep your cameras out, but be mindful of your electronics as there is a possibility of them getting wet on the tour. And also, there's no selfie sticks allowed aboard the tram. Last but not least, the studio is private property, so if at any point you need to be off of this tram because you dropped an item, can't wait to use the restroom, have to get back to the theme park, that is okay. Just pull down on the red cord, I'll come back there to assist you, and we will go from there, okay? Like I was saying, the tour is about 45 minutes to an hour long. There's two portions to the tour, the front lot and the back lot. And yes, it is the weekend, and usually we don't really anticipate a lot of production taking place on the weekends, but it's very busy these days. We're trying to play catch up with a lot of productions that are currently starting their second season, their third season of a show, and we're bringing in new shows as we speak. So just in case, if I see a security guard with an orange flag trying to get my attention, or if I see a red light flashing outside of our soundstage doors, that is my direct cue from production to stop talking. So if that's the case, I have to stop speaking immediately. It could be mid-sentence, so if for some reason I'm not talking and then this appears on your screens, that means that someone or something has told me to get off the microphone. Cool? Okay, we'll see what happens. If you guys see a celebrity, let me know. I will do everything I can to get them to come over to say hello. I used to work for TMZ, so I have no shame when it comes to stuff like that. So if you guys see someone, you gotta let me know. I'm mainly looking out for Dwayne Johnson, so if someone's on your list, you gotta tell me now, otherwise I'm just gonna be like, that's cool. Where's Dwayne? Okay, we all have our wish list, guys, okay, and he's my favorite one to spot on the lot. He did have his office space here for quite some time. We still do have a lot of high profile clientele that have their office spaces on the lot. That's why I'm always like, keep your eyes peeled, because you never know who or what you're going to see. But the first portion of the tour is the journey through the front lot, which is essentially the journey through the sound stages. We're about to see our first major sound stage coming up here on your left-hand side. This massive building with the number 12 on the side is soundstage number 12. For many years, this was the one home to NBC's hit singing competition, The Voice. Now, The Voice does continue to film here on the lot. They've just been moved to some of our brand new sound stages. Think of sound stages as warehouses that are at around 95 to 98% soundproof. We can build anything that we need within the walls of a soundstage. Productions are known to book like 2 to 3 sound stages, use 2 for actual production, and then use 1 for storage. Just really depends on what production needs. If they want to keep everything within the vicinity, every production has their own way of going about things. Now, as we cross the street, we're officially in the front lot. To your left-hand side, we're seeing our first cluster of sound stages. This is numbers 11 through 7. That's the order that we're driving past. Now, again, think of sound stages as warehouses that are at around 95 to 98% soundproof that we can build anything in. Now, soundstage number 9 coming up on the left-hand side. If you were to walk in through those doors, you're going to walk into a forest. There's a forest built in that soundstage. The ground is covered in dirt. There's about 80 trees in a half circle. The trees look like this here on your left-hand side. Once we pass the trailer, you're seeing these 2 sample trees with no leaves. That's what the trees look like in there. And then from ceiling to floor, wall to wall, that entire soundstage is wrapped in blue screen. So no matter where the camera was pointed, they'd be able to go back in during post-production to digitally replace those trees and recreate them, should I say, to make it look like they go on for miles and miles and miles, but really, they're just filming in the middle of a warehouse, which is a soundstage. Now, as we round the corner, on the left-hand side, we're gonna start to see these trailers here. Some of the doors are open to these trailers. You might be able to get a little glimpse into them, but mainly these trailers here on your left that are closest to us are full of costumes for a show called Hacks. Hacks has been filming here since their season 2 start. It's spelled Hacks. It stars Gene Smart. So these are the costume trailers. The trailers directly behind them are for the hair and makeup department. Then we're going to see even more trailers back there that say green light trailers. That's the trailers for the actors involved in the production. All of these vehicles, the collective, is known as a base camp. Every production will get one. We keep it within close proximity to production, especially our specialty equipment vehicles that have props on standby, camera equipment, lighting gear. All these vehicles are driven in by our local 399, our Teamsters, who are also our drivers here for the studio tour. They're usually the first ones on set, the last ones to leave. Nothing moves without the crew. They're an integral part of the movie magic process. Now, coming up on the right, we're going to see sound stages 16, 17, 18, and 19. For many years, these were all home to a show called Never Have I Ever, which is a Universal Television produced show, streams on Netflix, and was created by Mindy Kaling. Now, if you ever got the chance to see it, and you saw Davy, the main character, walking through the hallways of the school, stopping at her locker, having lunch in the cafeteria, those are the sets that were built out of these stages here on your right-hand side. That's the thing, the script will tell you exactly what and where to build it. It'll tell you, interior, science classroom, morning. Now, because it has indicated interior, we're going to aim to build it within the walls of a soundstage. If it says exterior, busy Manhattan street, midnight, and I'm just giving an example, we're going to aim to build that in our back lot. We do have our own version of Manhattan here on lot, which we're going to see shortly. Now, the last soundstage on the right-hand side is number 19. For many years, it was home to The Good Place with Ted Danson and Kristen Bell. It's also been home to almost all of the Fast and Furious films, especially Furious 7. Spends a lot of time filming out of this stage. One day when they were filming Furious 7, my tour stopped at this stop sign the second that Dwayne Johnson stepped outside that door to take a phone call. And instead of being a professional, I lost it. I lost it. I was talking about you guys. I looked over and instead of saying hello, I said, "That's my husband!" Like I screamed it on the microphone. And then he turned around and he gave me a wink and a thumbs up. So we've been together ever since, guys, okay? Our love is strong. Our love is real. We're meant to be. Right after that, well, actually not too long after that, he moved his production company here to the lot. So on your left-hand side, we're looking at these production bungalows, office spaces, if you will, that belong to some pretty major casting directors, writers, producers, and directors. We've been able to work with 7 Bucks Productions, owned and operated by Dwayne Johnson. Monkey Paw Productions, owned and operated by Oscar winner Jordan Peele. Keep your eyes peeled for Bungalow 5162. If you do spot them, they're hidden. They're coming up, actually. They're hidden back there. But the way that you can definitely see them is the balloon out front with the emblem for Wicked. Now, Bungalow 5162, again, to your left-hand side back there, that's Mark Platt Productions. They did produce Wicked with Ariana Grande, Cynthia Erivo, Jonathan Bailey, and Jeff Goldblum. It's officially an Oscar-nominated film for Best Picture. Super exciting. Part 2 of Wicked releases later on this year. I'm going to pass it over quickly to the director of Wicked. His name is John M. Chu, to give us some insight into the magic that is this movie.
Hey, Studio Tour. You're seeing a lot of behind-the-scenes movie-making magic today, showing you up close how filmmakers, like me, bring our dreams to the big screen. After your tour, the magic of Wicked continues at Universal Studios Hollywood, where you can experience photo ops, props, and costumes from the film, and fun bites and drinks from Shiz and Emerald City. But first, here's a look at Wicked.
Come with me to meet the wizard.
I couldn't possibly. This is your moment. I'm coming.
If you think that's something to see, wait to see this. You're good.
Very good.
Wicked, PG.
Okay, guys, if you don't have your cameras out at this point, I would say this is a good time to get them out. We're officially leaving the front lot, and we're here in our back lot, and this is when we're going to recognize sets from different movies and different shows. The first 4 acres of our 400-acre journey, we're going to focus on, they're known as the Metropolitan section. This is where the buildings are all over 50 feet tall to give us the illusion that we're looking at skyscrapers, but at the end of the day, these are just facades, the fronts and sides of properties. Now, coming up on the right is our first major neighborhood. This is Brownstone Street. You can see it often in a show called St. Denis Medical, which is new to NBC, but it's mostly famous for Bruce Almighty. Take a look.
Place the dog!
I'm in the shower.
Inside bad, outside good. Inside bad, outside good.
Oh, you're done now. Great.
Beautiful.
Brownstone Street is beautiful, but the next part of our lot is usually everyone's favorite. It was right about here where Marty McFly was just a few moments away from getting the DeLorean to get to 88 miles per hour. Welcome to Hill Valley from Back to the Future. We're making a right, but Marty McFly goes straight ahead back in time to your left-hand side. At the end of the block where that truck is parked, that's right about where the DeLorean disappears. Now, we've seen this part of a lot go through many different transformations through the years, but of course the fan favorite will always be the years that this was Hill Valley from Back to the Future.
I had scenes up at the clock tower on that ledge. It was a ledge about that wide. And I was standing inside looking at the ledge, and I already had vertigo.
Continue filming here without being tied right back to the Future. Whereas we round the corner onto New York Street, and we did call it New York Street. It is definitely modeled mostly after Manhattan, but it's vague enough for this to be transformed into any major metropolitan city in the world that we need it to be. You've seen this in Captain America, the First Avenger, The Amazing Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2, Changeling with Angelina Jolie, The Blues Brothers, directed by John Landis. This has been transformed into an obstacle course for American Ninja Warrior. You've seen this in shows like SWAT, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Good Girls, 911, Kenan, Will and Grace, How I Met Your Mother, Quantum Leap, TED TV. The list is endless when it comes to production, specifically here on New York Street. Now, like I said, this has been transformed into an obstacle course for American Ninja Warrior. Right about here where we're parked at Car 1 is where the obstacle course usually starts, and it goes beyond where we're even able to see New York Street on the tour today. Now, thankfully, American Ninja Warrior is a reality show that is deeply based in reality. They're not adding any green screen or blue screen to this obstacle course to make it seem like something it's not. But we are in a very digital era now when it comes to making movies and shows. So we're not exactly surprised when we see it being brought in to be utilized for film and television. We do have 2 digital aspects on the tour. The first one's coming up. We just got the clear to head up the hill to King Kong 360 3D. So do me a favor, turn the flash off the cameras and cell phones. Do you have anything on the floor? If you do, pick it up, put it on your lap or a booth seat next to you, as we will be experiencing sudden tram movements. As we head up the hill, I'm going to pass it over quickly to Peter Jackson.
It's the original King Kong that made me want to direct movies. I saw that movie on TV when I was about 8 or 9 years old, and I wanted to become a filmmaker. Action! I like films that just take you away from your real life and sweep you up an adventure. Kong literally does that. I mean, you're on board the ship, you're sailing to a lost island, you're encountering monsters and creatures from, prehistoric times. So I was thrilled when Universal invited me back to Skull Island, and it's great to have you along for the ride. Now, we have created this 3D immersive experience, so you're going to have your glasses ready.
The island.
Was King Kong 360 3D, one of the largest
side and T-Rexes from the other side.
Working on a movie, we always know where the people are looking. They're looking straight ahead. They're looking at the shot that we're working on.
Here you have to take into account that people are looking in all directions.
Also, one of the things about this ride, unlike the movies that we're used to working on, there's no cuts because it's one giant shot. This tram that's driving it along through Skull Island is where the camera's from. This ring represents where the screen is 10 meters away.
We're really creating about 50 minutes of a feature film. That amount of visual information, that number of pixels, and presenting them to the audience, it's a hell of a ride.
Okay, so Currently, we're driving through the fourth and final acre of the metropolitan section. This is an area known as London Square. It is based around the Regency era of London, which is the most popular era to be brought to life, especially via book adaptation to screen, whether it's for film or for television. A great example of this is seasons 1 and 2 of Bridgerton. Bridgerton does film on location in the UK, but it is based in the Regency era. Every major studio here in LA that has a back lot or some sort of lot to film on will have their own interpretation of the Regency era. It's very popular. Now, we're going to continue on, by the way. Keep those 3D glasses somewhere safe. You're going to need them later for Fast and Furious Supercharged. Now, as we continue, take a look to your right-hand side. We have this mural on this building here, paying homage to some of our classic Universal monster movie history. We've got the Wolfman, Creature from the Black Lagoon, Frankenstein in the center, Bride of Frankenstein, and then Dracula. The reason why we went with the monsters for the mural is because they're the most significant movies that Universal ever made. As everyone, and I say everyone as in all the studios, Hollywood, we're transitioning out of the silent film era. Every studio wanted to specialize in something specific, to be known for something specific. Some studios went in the direction of sticking with Westerns. Some went in the direction of mobster movies. We went in the direction of monsters. The monsters are what set us apart from everyone. Being the major motion picture studio to instill fear in our audiences made Hollywood realize that we were capable of more than dramas and Westerns, right? So it changed the game for us. We like to be able to point out that mural when we can, especially to put Tristan Eaton's work, the artist, on a larger scale.
And an instrumental part of the process of designing these murals was getting to go to the Universal Archive. Going there, I got to see in person props from the movies, photos from behind the scenes, original illustrations from those movie posters, all this stuff. I had an early affection for movie monsters. I was always fascinated by the magic behind making movies, but I fell in love with zombie movies and monster movies as a young kid. My world that I come from is skateboarding and graffiti and comic books. You always have to pay homage to where that art form started. And for me, it started with painting stuff in the street illegally, tagging billboards and dumpsters. Without that, I never would be here using spray paint like this.
It's wild to think that that mural is spray paint. It was really cool watching that come to life. But right now, we're headed to Little Europe, which is pretty much the home of our monsters. Almost all of our monsters can be traced back to this specific set. Now, there's a lot of range, a lot of versatility here in Little Europe. This could be Paris right now and transform into Rome within the matter of a couple hours. Because if that's the case, production's not going to change anything. They're going to leave the color scheme the same. They're going to leave all the bistro seating outside of the cafes the same. They're just going to change the signs in the background to make sure that the language is correct. So if this needs to be Paris, of course, everything in the background will be in French. If this is Rome, everything will be in Italian, so on and so forth. I would say, though, Little Europe was the most popular over the last few years when this was The Good Place, from NBC's The Good Place with Ted Danson and Kristen Bell.
You, Eleanor Shellstrom, are dead.
Cool.
This location, the afterlife, come on. I have never ever seen this. You're in the good place.
I'm not supposed to be here. I can't risk going to the bad place.
Well, maybe he's not all that bad.
Hi there. How can I help you?
What is the bad place like?
Well, it doesn't sound awesome.
So yes, Little Europe is the good place, but Little Europe is also Genovia from The Princess Diaries 2, A Royal Engagement. This has also been seen in Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl, the moments after Captain Jack Sparrow threatens Elizabeth Swann on the dock. Well, unfortunately, he threatens her right in front of Commodore Norrington, and if there's something that Commodore Norrington takes the most seriously, it's definitely Elizabeth Swann. So Commodore Norrington sends his men to go chase after Captain Jack Sparrow in hopes of finally capturing him, but of course they don't. He manages to hide, and all those moments where he is hiding through the town, that is what's filmed here in Little Europe. Now, Little Europe can also be seen in the live-action Cinderella, the one starring Whitney Houston, Brandy, Jason Alexander, and Whoopi Goldberg. But more than anything, it all comes back down to our monster movie history. The monsters changed the game for us. They paved the way for the titans of terror, like Freddy, Jason, Michael. Characters that are often featured here at an event that we have every year called Halloween Horror Nights. So if you've ever been, whether it's to here, to Universal Hollywood, or Universal Studios Orlando, the reason why Halloween Horror Nights is so important to us and so significant is because of our monster movie history. All roads lead back to them. So while the monsters are very important to Universal's cinematic history, the next stop on the tour is very important to our studio tour history. It was co-created by Steven Spielberg based on his most successful film, It's Jaws. Now, we have our own interpretation of the town, so I'm going to let Steven Spielberg kind of give you guys some insight into the thought process of bringing to life Amity for the studio tour.
The Jaws ride was almost the inevitable result of the size of the box office when Jaws first opened in June of 1975. And that was really the first time I ever got involved in the creation of a ride. It was a great honor to be invited into a creative circle of tremendous designers at Universal that were trying to figure out how to replicate what the movie had done to audiences in a real way by building a physical shark that would come out of the water and terrify tourists as they were sitting in the tram.
Well, thankfully, our version of Amity is nowhere near as scary as Steven Spielberg's. He did give us a police diver by the name of George. When we bring the trams through, George puts together a little reenactment of a scene from the movie. So let's see how George does today. People freak out at that. Is that messed up? My bad. You know what is messed up, guys, is if you've never seen the movie Jaws. I'm serious, because it was given to us for a major life lesson. What we learned from Jaws is that we do not belong in the ocean. We don't. We really don't, and neither did that mechanical shark. It rusted away 2 weeks into production because of the salt water. That's why a lot of the scenes in Jaws look like this one. In fact, let's rewatch this one, because now you're going to see that we never actually see the shark in this scene at all. And that's because this is one of the many days the mechanical shark did not work for Steven Spielberg. So instead of forcing the mechanical shark to only kind of work, Steven Spielberg transformed the camera into the shark instead. We cut under the water to see the camera get closer and closer, and right when we should see the shark strike, we don't. We've cut to the surface, right? Because Steven Spielberg knows that we don't have to see it to believe it. He knew that we didn't have to witness what was happening under the water to know that this was bad. This is the moment in the movie where we all, as an audience, knew that it was about to get a lot worse. So we filled in the gaps by using our imaginations, transforming this movie into a psychological thriller, and effectively saving the movie, okay? I like how the two Australians didn't even flinch at the shark, though. Oh, yeah, no, I haven't really given the ocean much thought since I've watched Jaws all those years ago. But while Steven Spielberg didn't have much control of the shark, we have control of everything here on the lot, and that includes the weather. So here in Old Mexico, we're going to demonstrate to you all how we can create rain for film and television. Well, let's go ahead and cue the rain now. Perfect. So we're sending water up through overhead sprinkler systems, letting it fall down to the ground naturally. If production was here in this moment, since we're not dealing with a lot of warm, bright, natural light today, we're kind of dealing with cooler tones, they would have to probably add a couple extra lights to make sure that the lighting was vibrant, and they're also going to add extra sprinkler systems. The more water on screen, the easier it is to see, especially if we were filming at 7 p.m. with no natural light. We're going to add about 20 extra sprinkler systems, and we're also going to add some powdered milk into the water. I know it's weird, but it acts as a tint without changing the texture of the rain. It gives it a pop for camera. Luckily, what's not milk is that flash flood. It's going right for cars 3 and 4. Does anybody have a poncho back there? Maybe gonna try to scoot in. You guys scoot. Ooh, okay. I don't know how bad it's gonna be up here, cars 1 and 2, but maybe just check it out. Oh my gosh, you guys, that was lucky. Cars 1 and 2, that was very lucky. You were spared today in terms of how much water it usually gets you guys. Are you in the vines? And fall to your body.
You can't outrun the wolf, kid!
Yeah, we'll see about that.
So along with Big Fat Liar, Old Mexico is also famous for Three Amigos, starring Chevy Chase, Martin Short, and Steve Martin, Criminal Minds, and Criminal Minds Beyond Borders, and Lady Gaga's music video for her song, Judas. But now we're making our way over to 6 Points, our very famous Western set. This has been featured in hundreds of the classic cowboy films starring the legends like John Wayne, Jimmy Stewart, Kirk Douglas, Clint Eastwood. But I would say over the last few years, this has regained a lot of popularity from a production standpoint. It's gained an entirely new fan base because this is where Quentin Tarantino filmed Once Upon a Time in Hollywood with Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio. This is where the three of them spent about 3 months filming, 6 days a week, most weeks. Everything here in 6 Points makes an appearance in the movie for almost 40 minutes of screen time. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's almost half the film. So in regards to what we're seeing in real time, and the way that it looks on camera, it's pretty much the same. They didn't even change the curtains in the windows. They left all the storefronts that have banners, like the doors on top. That we got a boarding house, the dressmaker on the left, the apothecary, and the clothing store here on the right-hand side, the saloon on the left. They left those the same. The doors that were lacking banners or lacking names, they just put a little banner on top of every door. And then they covered all of the ground in dirt. That's really the only thing that they did to change the set itself. So if you haven't gotten the chance to see it, definitely put this movie on the watch list. Brad Pitt won an Oscar for this one for Best Supporting Actor in a Major Motion Picture. It's definitely worth the watch, okay? But I will say that before you guys make this movie the family movie night choice, don't. Or do, because that's your choice. But if you do, you gotta proceed with extreme caution for the last 35 minutes of the film. You need to take that how you will, okay? Now as we leave 6 Points, to your left-hand side across the way, we're seeing sound stages 30 through 33 in the distance. 30 and 31 are both home to The Voice these days. Again, they've been here since their season 1 start. And then 32 and 33 are home to a show called Happy's Place. It's a new show on NBC that stars Reba McEntire. So as we round the corner, how are we feeling? Are we okay? Car 1, we're good? Car 2, how we living? Are we okay? We're good? Okay, good. Car 3, are we all right? I like those. Are those overalls? Those pink overalls? That's cute. That's very cute. Car 4, this is the first time I've seen you guys this entire time. You guys okay? You're good? Okay, amazing. I love this. I ask because we're more than halfway through the tour. We're good. We're kicking. We're doing good, but I also want you to be mindful that we do have a second motion simulator to experience. I will give you guys a 15-minute warning. I'm gonna say, hey guys, we're at the 15-minute mark. We only have 3 more sets to visit, then we make our way over to Fast and Furious Supercharged. So you can check in with yourselves and make sure that you're feeling up to experiencing more sudden train movements, fire effects, strobe lights, fog effects, all of that. I wanna make sure that everyone is comfortable. And if for any reason you're not, or if you need to be off this tram for any reason, that is okay. Just pull down on the red cord and we will get it all sorted out. So as we continue up the hill on Steven Spielberg Drive, we're going to get another view of Amity coming up here on your right-hand side. Of course, we just got to experience this for ourselves a few minutes ago. But in regards to Amity, we really only refer to it as that for the sake of the studio tour. It's actually best known as Cabot Cove from a classic show by the name of Murder, She Wrote, starring Angela Lansbury. Take a look. And now we're in the suburbs, and it does look peaceful up here, but looks can be deceiving. On your right-hand side, this house is known as the Chicken Ranch from a hit musical, starring Dolly Parton and Burt Reynolds, called The Best Little House in Texas. This is a practical set. There are 4 walls and a roof that enclose this house, which gives it the functionality of a real home. Like, it gives production the opportunity to build upon the first floor, but there's no plumbing or electricity, which keeps it from being a functional house. Now, almost all the homes in this block are facades, which is another way of saying false front. That definitely applies to the friendships that were made here during the years that this was Wisteria Lane from ABC's Desperate Housewives.
If there is one thing everyone in suburbia can appreciate, It's a good name.
What the heck? Let's move that.
All the years that the Desperate Housewives were in production, this set only belonged to them. Now, typically, if a show was filming here or anywhere on the lot, they'll take over for about a good 2 to 3 months, sometimes 6 months. Then they go on a hiatus, and then they come back about 3 months later to continue filming. In that hiatus, other shows or movies are usually able to utilize that set. But when it came to the Desperate Housewives, that was not the case. ABC, the network and production company behind that show, they had an exclusivity deal with us here at Universal where nothing else was allowed to film here other than the Desperate Housewives. They felt as though the aesthetic of this neighborhood was so important to this show's success that they wanted nothing else to be tied back to this neighborhood. So this was solely home to the Desperate Housewives for all of those years of production. Now, many of these houses are facades, like this house here on your right-hand side with the teal door. Walking through that door, take about 10 steps, you're gonna hit a tree. Take another 10 steps past that tree, you're gonna fall straight off a cliff, right down into the good place. There's nothing going on in that house at all. Now the yellow house on the right, that's Davy's house from Never Have I Ever. Then the purple and white house on the right-hand side, does that look familiar? Because it's 1313 Mockingbird Lane. It was once home to the Munsters. So long before the housewives showed up, and then long after they left, Colonial Street has been home to some pretty epic neighbors through the years. Neighbors 2, a sorority rising with Zac Efron and Seth Rogen filmed here. Why Him with James Franco and Bryan Cranston. This has also been seen as Davy's Neighborhood in Never Have I Ever. And Ted, the show that's on Peacock, based of course on the Ted films. Now as we continue up the hill on Steven Spielberg Drive, it's one of the main thoroughfares of the entire lot. Of course, we know Steven Spielberg as an amazing director and producer, but for us here at Universal, he's more. He's also the lead consultant for all things Universal parks, destinations, resorts, and experiences. And that is because of the studio tour.
My entire career began with my relationship with Universal Studios just as a high school kid on a tour bus. Remember, in those days, there weren't trams, there were buses called the Gray Line Tour Bus. And I was so excited and thrilled to be on the lot. This was my first time ever on a movie studio lot. And during a bathroom break, I hid in the bathroom, and when everybody left to get back on the bus, I waited another 15 minutes until I'm sure the bus left, and then I had the entire lot to myself that day. And in those days, movie lots were so crowded because all movies were made on film lots. Today they're made all over the world, on locations, but most of it was focused in those days, in the 60s, on the film lots. So nobody noticed me when I was going around from soundstage to soundstage, and I really felt, in my own young way, I owned the lot and had the most amazing day of my life.
Okay guys, this is the 15-minute mark. We only have 3 more set visits, then we make our way over to Fast and Furious Supercharged, and then back to the theme park. But before we get to those last 3 set visits, we have our picture cars on display. This is only a temporary spot for them, so if you see any that you like, definitely got to get pictures because we've already gotten a few requests in from different productions that would like to utilize these cars for shows, for movies, and a couple of commercials as well. Now, when they're utilized for commercials, we consider it a weekend shoot. They're usually used for about 2 to 3 days, and we get them back. Shows are anywhere between 3 to 6 months, and for movies, it could be a year. So if you see any that you like, again, definitely got to get pictures of them while they're still here. Now, it doesn't really matter which one you like, just as long as the one that you choose works. Because if you stayed as a guest next door, you're going to need one of these cars to work as your getaway vehicle. You're not going to want to stay for very long, because next door is the Bates Motel from the film Psycho, directed by Alfred Hitchcock. Now we are going to stop here for a few moments so you guys can get a picture. This property and this stop has been a part of the tour since our launch in 1964. It's one of our more iconic properties. Oh my gosh, you've got to be kidding me. Norman? It's okay. We're not staying. We have 30 seconds. We're going to take a couple pictures and we're going to go back upstairs. So why don't you go powder up and come back out for a nice photo opportunity and give people just a moment to catch you in frame. Okay. I'm sorry, guys. Hopefully he'll be back, but if anything, we're just going to stop for a few moments, give you guys an opportunity to get a picture because it is an icon. Okay. Oh, okay, this is definitely like a weird joke. It's okay. Let's see what he says. Norman, you better blink twice or snap your fingers or something if this is a joke. Oh, no, it needs to be a joke. No, seriously, it needs to be a joke because if it's not a joke, you almost have like 200, but no, we gotta go. Go. Gotta take the 8 pounds and then we gotta get these people out of here. Listen, Norman, it's not that serious. It's not that serious. Wow, that knife is shiny, dude. Did you just Wow. Okay, we gotta go. We gotta go. Keep it moving. Len, he's going right for the car 4. We gotta go. Oh my gosh.
You see what kind of a person I am.
Oh my gosh, Norman, were you getting the dude with the selfie stick? Just kidding. Gotcha. Listen, I don't know what's worse.
They are watching.
Him trying to stab us, or you guys waving at him. I don't know what's worse. It's bad. He might come up these stairs. He's very fast. He's very quick. I really don't want to test that assumption right now. We're not even remotely in the clear. Like I said, we have 3 sets. That's 1. This is 2. This is the crash site from Steven Spielberg's War of the Worlds. War of the Worlds stars Tom Cruise and Dakota Fanning. To your left, that is a real 747. Yes, a real airplane that was purchased for this film just to be demolished so it could be featured for just a few minutes worth of screen time. Now we are going to stop here for a few moments. When the tram comes to a complete stop, you can stand up if you would like to get better pictures or videos. Your cue to sit back down will be when Tom Cruise says, "Robbie, get in."
Now to talk about the War of the World, I thought, what if the 747 goes down right in a big neighborhood? Because it's just something you don't see.
You're doing good. You're doing good. Keep your eyes on me. Listen down. Listen down. You close your eyes, okay? Down close.
5 seconds. Every director has their own sense of style. Some of them are all about the stories that really lean into character development, like Alfred Hitchcock, or Steven Spielberg with War of the Worlds, leaning into a lot of detail, packing the movie with action. Jordan Peele, I would say, gives us a little bit of both. He gives us cool, interesting, down-to-earth characters and then puts them through out-of-this-world situations. The last set we're checking out today on the tour goes by the name of Jupiter's Claim. It's all of the original pieces brought directly in from the last day of production from a movie that stars Daniel Kaluuya, Keke Palmer, Brandon Perea, and Stephen Yeun. Written, produced, and directed by Oscar winner Jordan Peele. Welcome to Jupiter's Claim from Nope.
Movie magic only happens when a team of collaborators, often in the hundreds, work together to take an impossible notion and bring it to life. This is Jupiter's Claim, a nostalgic, small-time Southern California amusement park owned by former child star Ricky Jupe Park. Over there, look into the winking well and have your picture taken just like the kids in that old 90s movie Kid Show. That's what this whole place is loosely based on. Remember that one? No? Well, I do. A little further down, you can see the brand new Star Lasso experience. Built to showcase an unbelievable new live show. It's not looking so live anymore. Anyway, behind this Hollywood fantasy of a gold rush frontier town lies a sinister secret. Welcome to the world of No.
Jordan Peele. He has a very subtle way of giving the audience a lot of hints, usually letting the audience come to their own conclusions. But when I think of the word subtle, I don't think of the Fast and Furious franchise, but that's why we love them, and why we decided to make it the grand finale of the studio tour, and this is it, Fast and Furious Supercharged. You're not going to need those 3D glasses right away. I will let you know when. Just keep them on standby. In the meantime, keep the flash off the cameras and cell phones. Hold on to your belongings. Remain seated. The same rules apply.
More serious than I thought. What just happened?
What?
This is a secure line.
Okay,
Who are you?
is this another joke? Because I'm not really into the joke.
I'll tell you who I am, boy.
My husband.
I'm the reason bad guys use a nightlight.
Yep.
I'm the reason the boogeyman begs his mama to look under his bed. And I'm the reason you just lost control of this whole operation.
Wait, what?
My name is Special Agent Luke Hobbs of the U.S. Diplomatic Security Service. And as of 16.9 seconds ago, I'm the man in charge.
The hell you are.
Let me clue you in on 2 things, sweet cheeks. 1, there's a high-value witness from the Federal Protection Program aboard your vehicle. And 2, international crime.
Everybody out! The FBI! We're not kicking off!
FBI, don't move.
Damn.
That's right, party's over.
You know how long I took to iron this shirt, man? I'm not...
You're under arrest right now.
Ladies, just back up a little bit. Got it. It's lightweight. First of all, I don't work for you.
Oh, really? Well, tell me, Roman, who do you work for?
We don't work for nobody. Cop, I suggest you clear out of here, otherwise we can't guarantee your safety.
Guarantee my safety? I'm the one holding the gun.
Yeah, but mine's a whole lot bigger than yours. Hobbs, escort this novice out.
Let's go, Cookie Puss.
Got an ugly suit on, man. It's cheap.
Somebody out there really pissed off Shaw. It's gonna get ugly fast.
Yeah, don't worry. Lucky for you, our whole family will protect you.
Are you kidding me, Roman? You didn't shut off your phone, bro?
I gotta call you back. I'm in the middle.
See what I'm talking about?
Call you back.
Man.
It was on vibrate. Shaw traced us. Ops can't hold him forever. Letty, Roman, we're up. Driver, move that vehicle. It's about to get real interesting. Let's get serious. Mona Lisa's all warmed up right next door. Roman, grab your truck. I need you and Letty ready to roll.
Okay guys, this is it. Go ahead and put those protective 3D glasses on. As we make our way into this next room, this is when you'll need them. Friendly reminder to keep the flash off the cameras and cell phones. Hold on to your belongings and remain seated.
Speak now or you all get fried!
This is our turn.
After them!
Okay, guys, it's showtime! Come on up! This thing ain't moving fast enough! Roman, Letty, hook him up!
I got the move by the horn!
Now we're moving.
God, look out! You give me the witness terminal, we call it a day! I got company! The witness is mine, Letty!
How about you eat asphalt?
Don't think you're getting away! Call in the drones!
Way to go, Letty!
Drones on another missile shot!
Not gonna happen! Don't worry, I got this!
Woman, don't shoot! Head on the bridge! Under construction!
Hit the nitrous!
What are you making?
Ride or die! Over the job, everybody. You protect the witness and you can resume breathing.
It's crazy out there.
I got wet too.
Yep. And I just got that down in the warehouse.
They say the bigger the family, the stronger it is.
Family.
You guys did good out there. And you're welcome to join our crew anytime.
You guys okay? Okay. Just double checking. Thought I heard someone yelling.
What?
So, that was the grand finale of the studio tour, Fast and Furious Supercharged. Thank you all so much for hanging out with us here today at Universal Studios Hollywood, and for letting us take you around the Universal Studios lot to show you how we do movie magic. We're on our way back to the theme park. We'll be there in about a minute or two. So take this time now to look down at the ground to make sure that if you had anything on the floor, that it is still with you in the same row that you are in. Of course, things do tend to shift around as we're experiencing our animations. When we get to our parking space, we'll be exiting the tram to the left-hand side. Again, make sure you have all your belongings with you. And of course, watch your step as you exit the tram. But before we stand up to exit the tram, just remain seated until one of our studio tour ambassadors comes around to open up the gates. Again, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us here today, and we hope to see you all again very soon. Plan to come back this April to celebrate the best of sci-fi, fantasy, gaming, and anime at an all-new Universal Fan Fest night, so you can experience your favorite franchises every night, all in one place. If you want to find out any extra information, you can check out universestudioshollywood.com. Again, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us here today. Your driver's name is Glenn. Shout out to Glenn for getting us through the tour safely on this no-joke big vehicle. And again, my name is Tiffany. Thank you guys so much for letting me take you around the lot to show you how we do movie magic. My name is Tiffany if you liked the tour. If you didn't like the tour, then my name is Felicia. Bye-bye.